Welcome to Skeptics Welcome, the podcast where intuition meets action. I'm your host, Mariah Oler. I'm a tarot reader, astrostylist, and former cell biologist. Each week, I meet up with small business owners, entrepreneurs, and curious creatives for action-oriented tarot readings focused on whatever feels uncertain, uncomfortable, or stagnant in their life. Let's get into it. Today, we are joined by Lauren Petraglia. Lauren runs a virtual assistant agency that helps ambitious entrepreneurs streamline their operations so they can get their time back. Her big question is about the direction of her career and ensuring that she's in the right communities. Welcome to the show, Lauren.
Thanks for having me, Mariah.
Tell me a bit about your business and any questions that come up.
My business is, like you said, it's a virtual assistant and online business management agency. So it is myself, my COO, who is also an online business manager, and then we have 3 VAs. We are bringing on a 4th one because we just recently signed or are in the process of signing another client. And then I also recently got a full-time remote role. And the reason I'm okay with that is because it's allowing me to actually step into more of a CEO role. So I'm not being so hands in the business and making decisions out of scarcity, which I had been doing, honestly, transparently up until this point. The main thing that we do is, like you said, help online businesses or small businesses really scale their results and take things off their plate so they can be more in their CEO role. So now I'm just practicing what I preach and what I help other business owners with as well.
My goodness, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to give you what I call the no-show grow spread. So it's what you need to know about your business, what actions you need to take in the short term, and then what are the long-term things that you're working towards. When I look at what you need to know about your business, I see that one of the big things you've been working on is giving yourself boundaries, being able to say like, no, I will not take this, just giving yourself space as well. Part of the reason for that is because there is a lot that you need to be giving yourself. You're always doing these like operations, these very strategic things, and you need rest and joy and recuperation. It's like you're doing a lot of inner child work.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of rest and recuperation. So that's been a hard lesson because I will burn myself out for the bottom line. And if it means putting a client or their needs before myself, like I have been doing that up until this point, and it's gotten me into a hole energetically, I want to say.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing you need to know about your business, we see 10 of Swords. She's surrounded by fire, in part because you have all of these passionate people around you. And it's almost like you're the kindling. So you're like, oh yeah. I'll burn myself out for you and these things that are important to you. Anytime we see the 10 of Swords, we know that we need to be practicing delegation because it's like you are taking on way too much of the weight of other people's passions. And then the last thing that we see is that maybe you're already doing this need for hobbies, this need to play out your own passions, to put your energy towards your own things. Tell me about that. How's that showing up?
Because I'm not doing it. It's showing I'm not doing it. I'm in this weird phase where I've changed therapists. I've gotten a new diagnosis. I'm on like new medication. There's a lot like going on cognitively that's challenging for me right now as well. So then like having to burn myself on both ends, not only with my business, but with like work in general and, you know, marriage, I don't know, all the things that you need to be responsible for as an adult. But then obviously cognitively at this time, having limited ability to also add in hobbies almost feels like stressful, but like it's needed to be able to rest and recuperate. And like I'm having challenges in that area because right now hobbies to me is looking like, can I go for a walk for 10 minutes to clear my head? Like I would love to have some deep, like, almost ritualistic hobbies that really bring me joy. And I have some that I would like to do, but right now, at least I'm telling myself I'm not financially in the place to do the hobbies that I want to be doing.
Okay, what's very interesting, so anytime we're talking about pages, we're talking about the energy of like a 7 or 8-year-old girl who's like just figuring out what it is that she really likes. Here, we're talking about the Page of Wands, which is like, what gets you fired up? What are your passions? Because you have been tending to other people. It's like you have had passions delivered to you for so long. It's hard for you to identify what it is that you're wanting. Feels true?
Yeah, very much so. I'm such a channel, I feel, not only physically, but like, you know, when you're working with someone and you're dealing with their passions, and these are people I like really get behind, you know, like personally as well. When I take on a client, I believe in their business, I believe in them. So I'm almost like a channel for them and their creativity because I help bring it to life, but then I don't have anything left for myself. There's no creativity. I don't have anything left to be able to determine exactly what my passions are, what my hobbies are, what I want. And it's like I'm learning myself at 31, like that I probably should have learned at teenage years, childhood years. I don't have that foundation.
Wow.
Full blown. I just got out of therapy too. So I'm very emotionally aware right now. So this is a good time for that.
There's multiple pages. This is the one where you just start and stop. A 10-minute walk, perfect for the page of wands. If we were talking about the page of cups, I'd be like, you need to sign up for a weekly pottery class or painting or whatever. For this, do what you can when you can and full permission to stop whenever you want. Because it's just about identifying what it is that you like at this phase of your life.
Okay.
When I look at what you're working on right now, you've already said some of the things. The very first thing is your marriage and being able to celebrate each other. So Four of Wands, it can often represent marriage, graduation. Anytime we're talking about the Four of Wands, I think people often think this is the end goal. When we talk about a marriage, they're like, I did it, I got married, but really it's just the beginning. Very similar with graduation, right? Like you worked so hard for these few years. You're at the very beginning of the thing. Whenever I'm talking about this with high performing women like you, usually they're saying things like, I haven't done enough to celebrate. I'm not done with the work yet.
Yes,
not true for you.
Okay.
So the more that you celebrate, specifically with people that kind of keep the chaos out for you, that feel very grounding for you, the better you are at identifying what it is that you want so that you can build a business that you are very passionate about.
Okay.
That tends to you as much as you tend to it.
That's like making me short circuit a little bit. And it's because when you say that people are grounding, like it's not intentional, but I'm realizing I surround myself with chaos because that's what feels comfortable. So when you say grounding and that gives back, I'm like, but I'm used to just giving and not necessarily receiving. Like to me, receiving is they pay my invoice. And you're saying there can be more than that. And it doesn't. Like I'm just like having a hard time digest, not in a bad way. I'm just like, it's hitting a point.
Totally. Okay. So I've been in business for over a decade.
Yeah.
And I had a really traumatic childhood and a really traumatic young adulthood.
I saw a little bit about that on your socials.
Yeah, I try to talk about it. I think it's important that people know, like, you can get into a healthy, calm place after having so much chaos around you.
Right.
For the first, I want to say 8 years of being married to my husband, I never felt safe and comfortable at the same time.
Interesting.
It took a really long time for me to be able to learn that I can be safe and that it can be comfortable. And it's a lot of like coming back to it. It still happens every now and then. But now, because I'm getting comfortable with safety, I can kind of like come back to a safe place and be comfortable faster.
And not to sound elementary, but what is that like to be safe and comfortable at the same time? Because in my head, they're so different that it's like, okay, I can be safe and comfortable when usually it's like, comfort doesn't necessarily mean safety. It means stagnancy, at least again, from this is my personal experience. Like what you're saying sounds wonderful. That's why I'm asking about it.
Yeah. That's why I'm bringing it up so we can talk about it, because I don't feel like enough people that have gotten to this point feel like they are safe enough to talk about the experience. Or maybe just not a lot of people have gone through it. I'm not exactly sure. One of the things I notice is that it's a much slower life. I think that is the biggest thing. It's the slowness. The slowness made me feel like I was dying for a really, really, really long time. I probably should have been medicated during it. I started finding hobbies, which now I do as a huge part of my life. I paint. It started as like watercolor paint that were super cheap. He bought me a set like as a gift, and I would just like kind of watercolor my feelings because I felt scared a lot while I was slowing down. It did require me to sleep a lot, I think. And I really beat myself up about that for years, that I slept so much because my brain was processing how to heal.
I was going to say, do you think it's because you hadn't had that rest and like were in a burnout for a long time that you didn't even realize you needed the sleep? Because I'm kind of at that point where I am medicated. And one of the things that are happening is I'm sleeping and I'm like, okay, why is it so hard for me to get out of bed? And it's like, bitch, like you've been working your ass off for so long in like a negative energy range. Like, what did you expect to happen? So I just find it interesting that you say that.
Yeah. I also, something I don't think people talk about, burnout lasts like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
It's a very serious thing. And a lot of times we think that in order to do work, we have to be doing it outward. I'm sure you feel that way. But your brain is literally building synapses and connecting to each other so that you have a new way of being while you're sleeping. It's a very important part of healing, and it takes years.
I knew it took 5 to 7 years. I didn't realize the synapses in your sleep thing. And I feel like I have a tendency personally to like start to recover, and then I feel this much better, and then I'll push myself back into burnout. So it's almost like I've been in this back and forth for a very long time of like starting to heal and then like punishing myself for it and like putting myself back where I belong kind of thing.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work. And I do think it requires you to be around people that have gotten to those points. Like, you know, being around people that are healthier. It's still hard. I have a lot of resentment for the amount of privilege that my husband and my children have. Like, they don't know. They never, like, I'll be like, come on, put your shoes on. Like the 10th time, I'm like, I can't imagine being safe enough to take this long to put my shoes on. So there is this like kind of back and forth, and it takes time.
Okay.
So your task then is to find grounding people and to celebrate what your successes are. So this is what that could look like, Lauren.
Oh my God.
You could be texting 3 or 4 people and being like, hey, I just had X win at work, whatever the win is. Very simple, just a thing that happened today.
Interesting.
Would you like to go out and celebrate with me? And then they're going to ask you questions. They're going to say, okay, so tell me, what did you like about this? And you're going to have space to start filling in where your passions are, the things that you want in your life, the direction you want to head in your life.
This feels so forbidden. It's funny that you say this because, like I just mentioned, like with the new therapies, the new diagnosis, a lot of shit that's happened in my life over the years, but specifically from like August or September to current, I have lost a lot of people. And I do realize now that they weren't a good fit for me. During that time, I wasn't allowed to celebrate, but they were. So like, there was one person in particular who like every time like they could have like gotten their nails done and it would be a celebration. Like it was that dramatic where everything they did was a big deal, but like it gave me no space to be able to celebrate myself. And I feel like that just mimicked the patterns I was taught growing up, you know? So being told to like take that space and like actually reach out to say like, I had a win is like it doesn't even feel like I can do that. But granted, that's the energy I give out, but to receive it feels weird, and also making me realize how many few people I actually have to text that.
When I go to your birth chart, your midheaven is in Virgo. Your business, so spot on. The business you have built is so spot on to your birth chart. You have a Capricorn in the 2nd house, and you have Uranus and Neptune here. So like you're meant to work hard to make money and to make it in a different way. Like you're not meant to be in a 9-to-5 salary job ultimately. You have Taurus in your 6th house, which is the type of labor you do. For you, it's like slow, steady, methodical, keep coming back to the work. And then the part that's very interesting is you have Virgo midheaven in your 10th house. You also have Chiron here. So the work, Chiron is the wounded healer. The work that you provide for people, you're never going to get that back from the community. You're never going to find somebody that can be you for your business in the way that you are for other people's business. Even if you have a COO, even if you bring people on, they're never going to do the operations and the organization and the tending in the way that you do.
100%. But I think that's for the best though.
It is. Yeah, I was about to say, because that is like your greatest gift. You are so efficient. You're so like, it is like such your skill to be so organized. Okay. I say all that to say Libra is in your 11th house. That's your house of like blessings, right? You have Jupiter and you have Venus here. Jupiter and Venus in Libra. This is like, you can't ask for better.
Really? I was nervous about those two.
Oh no, Jupiter is what expands you and what gives you a lot of luck. Venus is like what allows you to accept blessings. It's all about finding the right community for you. So your big task is finding where you get luck, where you get and 11th house is luck. It's a good luck, good community. You have to be thinking, even when you're like doing a more traditional job, you have to be thinking about the community you are in. Because if you get in the right community, they skyrocket you. It's rocket fuel, truly. So it is really important that you find that community. And this is like the task that I would give you is journaling. What kind of person do you want to be around? Where can you find them? I would be writing that at least once a week, but maybe every day.
Okay. My wife and I have been saying like for a long time that we don't have, because we're like the only gay couple we know. Like we're in Jersey, but like we're not in Asbury. That's been like an innate feeling. So to hear that it's like actually a part of my birth chart is kind of interesting. And I almost want to ask you too, with like when you say skyrocket, do you mean just personally or also professionally? Like I'm just curious on like what that means.
Every aspect of your life.
Really?
All aspects.
Okay.
I started dressing like my Venus sign, which yours is in Libra.
Mm-hmm.
It was life-changing. I live in Mexico now. My house is double the size. My bank account is like bigger than I ever imagined it could be.
After a year.
After a year. It started the day I did it though.
Yeah.
I think the second day I dressed like my Venus sign, I made enough money to cover all of my bills for that month. And prior to that, I was having to pull money from my savings account. So you should go onto my Instagram and look at the Libra Venus wardrobe inspirations. They're all very well labeled. You should start dressing like your Venus sign, because you have Venus in Libra, you have Jupiter in Libra. So the planet of receiving and the planet of expansion, both in Libra, and they're in your house of good fortune and community.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, like I just bought new clothes. Now I'm like,
oh, good.
I'm like, I think they were, in my head, they were like Libra inspired, but now I want to look at your Instagram and like make sure that they were Libra inspired.
Feel free to send photos. I'm happy. I do that a lot. I do a lot of wardrobe styling.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. I am an astro stylist. So sometimes that looks like, you know, if people are doing a big event, I'll shop for them. Like maybe on Newly or Rent the Runway, I'll like choose their outfits for the weekend. Ooh. Or I will look at their closet and I'll tell them, these are the pieces to put together. Mm-hmm. The results are insane. I say it as a person that came into it as a skeptic. It's amazing. You should try it. Okay, so you have 3 more short-term actions. The next is therapy. So I'm so glad you're in it. This is the 5 of Swords. So we have to be paying attention to what isn't working in our life and imagining what could feel better in those places. Okay. You know how sometimes people are like, love and light, you attract what you focus on. Mm-hmm. That is not true for you. For you, you're like, I hated this and this and this. And then you go back and you're writing what it is you think would feel better in those places. It could be about your career. It could be about your relationships. It could be about your house. But for you, one of your biggest struggles that we've already seen is that you struggle to identify what it is that you want. Mm-hmm. It's probably pretty easy for you to see what isn't working though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that journaling is one of the best things that you could do. If you could start the day by talking about what you don't like and then coming back around to how that could be better, then you could start voicing, hey, this is what I prefer to happen.
I think of things so logically that coming at it from emotion is like difficult sometimes. So when you say what you don't like, it's like, well, but like this is what makes sense. And it's like, does it? Like, so now I'm like questioning that. So, okay.
There are going to have to be hard conversations coming up with the people close to you, especially. It's coming. I mean, you're probably in it already.
This and therapy are like this right now. And I'm like, what?
I do see in the short term, like probably even this week, there are some hard choices that have to be made.
I'm going to throw up. Continue.
We can look into the outcome of doing one or the other, whatever the option is, right? Gonna throw up, continue. So when we see the 2 of Swords, we see that you are stagnant. You feel like you're at a stalemate. Or what can also show up is you feel like there's pros and cons to both. You don't really want to make a choice. If you just stay where you are, then maybe it's balance. Then maybe it'll be okay. Maybe like time is just going to make it rot worse and be worse. So we're just going to have to make a choice and go. Okay. And you can tell me what the options are and we'll pull right after I finish this part of the spread. Okay.
Okay.
The last thing that I see is you needing a mentor.
Mm-hmm. I have one. I actually we're on pause right now because financials. She did help me a lot, even just up until this point. So I'm not surprised. Like that is in path to continue working with her.
So we're going to go over your future stuff pretty quickly because it's all related.
Okay.
The goals that we are working towards 3 to 6 months from now. The very first is the Page of Swords, practicing, emphasis on practice, clear, concise, and honest communication.
Okay.
Pages are never experts at their thing. So even in 3 to 6 months, I don't expect you to be like, I did not like that, and I'm not going to do it. I expect you to have periods where you feel brave and you're able to practice boundaries. You're going to make mistakes. That's like the Page way. But just practicing, being like, I don't like that. I didn't like the way that felt. I don't like the way that showed up. That wasn't good for me. No. When you come to a crossroads, I want you thinking about 2 people. the 5-year-old version of yourself and the 85-year-old version of yourself. Do you ever imagine yourself becoming a mother?
Absolutely not.
Love it.
If society supported it more, maybe I would reconsider, but I already feel like here's why. I feel like I've already sacrificed so much of myself. At 31, I'm just starting to learn. And I mean, not even baseline yet, Mariah, learn who I am. At like having a child is like not only a disservice to that child, but to myself. And like, I don't know if I'll be in the place to even know who I am enough to have a child until later. And then at that point, is that going to be my goal? You know what I mean? So no.
Yeah.
But
love.
yeah.
I do see you taking on the role of your own mother. But if mother feels too uncomfortable, it might be best friend.
That resonates more.
Best friend? Okay. So there we go. So anytime you're at a crossroads, I want you to remember that you are your 5-year-old self's best friend. And I want you to kind of like think about what she needs. Does she need candy right now? Does she need to go swing at a park? Does she need, like, what are those things? It's going to feel nuts in the beginning.
Okay.
And then the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I think it would be easy to imagine yourself as a best friend and then to like imagine what she needs. The other part of you has to befriend your 85-year-old self. So you have to be looking at, what does she need? It's like, what does your 5-year-old self want? What does your 85-year-old self need? What kind of money does she need in the bank? What kind of savings account does she need? What kind of food does she need? I do want you imagining those two versions of yourself anytime you're making a decision. Does that feel crazy or does that feel possible?
It feels challenging. And it's funny you say, like, what does she need in the bank account? Because like I said, right now, money's tight. I know she needs some money in the bank, like especially the way society's going. But like, it's so hard to even imagine being 85, like, because I almost feel like how am I going to take care of her, you know?
Tell me more about that. What's the oldest you can envision yourself being?
50.
What are you doing when you're 50?
Still working. I feel like the only way I can imagine myself is if I'm still actively creating an income, not passively. To be like having it in the bank and like being secure to me feels passive. And like, I can't imagine that for myself. But again, like I'm in a place of scarcity right now. So like, that's difficult.
I think that you're very much on track to build a business that allows you to be working comfortably at 50. And I think it's okay to envision that as well. Work brings me so much joy and so much, like mental comfort as well. So my task then is to create a business that I could do when I'm 50 or when I'm 85. What would that look like, right? So I think it's fair to say, when you're at a crossroads, think about your 5-year-old self and your 55-year-old self. What kind of business does your 55-year-old self need built?
Definitely like 10, 15 hours a week. Something that feels like, oh, I have to get up and like do this today, but it's not going to saturate my entire day to the point where I have nothing left at the end. And right now that's where I'm at. And like, even to be honest, Mariah, like the 9 to 5 feels flexible because of what I've done with my business, like the way I was working in my business, like the amount of like push, effort, mental, physical, like any energy, like the 9 to 5 feels more flexible, which is a really big mirror for me and is very concerning. And I honestly, I'm like, I don't know how to do it any other way. But like what I want and what I've envisioned for myself, even at 55, is having like 10, 15 hours a week. And my business coach and I have talked about me doing something else where I'm teaching women about how to authentically be able to attract work that aligns with them, either in corporate or on their own, so that they can function in their self comfortably and with integrity. And that's like the goal. I'm just not there yet. But that to me feels way more aligned and way more like something I would love to do for 10 to 15 hours a week, where I feel like I'm giving back in a way that's not draining me. Because right now I feel like what I'm giving and the way my business is structured is draining. Like being an online business manager and the capacity I've created it is draining.
If your rate was 3 times more, do you think it would still be as draining?
No, but I have not attracted those kind of clients, even though I know they're out there. I honestly know that's what my worth is. I find myself still negotiating, and it drives me up a wall, and it makes me want to shut the whole thing down and be like, you know what? I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Like, fuck this. So
when you say negotiating, tell me more about that. What does negotiating mean?
Like, so example, like right now my rate is $100 an hour, because not only are you getting, like, I'm the CEO, so I have stepped out, but like I'm bringing in leads, I'm doing billing, I'm doing marketing, like that's my role. But you're getting an online business manager, my COO, who is extremely competent. She has worked with me for years. I have almost trained her in a way to be like an extension of me. Like I know the quality you're getting. And then you have 3 VAs, you have an entire team you don't have to manage, and you're going to negotiate manning at $100 an hour. Get fucked. So that's kind of like why I have resentment right now. Cause like, I'm like, I did this and like, you don't see the value. And then I'm like negotiating because I feel like I have to meet my bills. It's very exhausting, and it's making me angry. I need clarity around structure. It's like the group, and I keep in mind, I have like no foundation for the group classes or anything like that right now. Like this is like beyond beta. And then I have the OBM/VA agency. And then right now I also have this 9 to 5 that I just started. I don't know like what I'm actually doing. I just feel like I'm putting feelers out everywhere and like hoping something resonates. And it's like stressing me out because I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of scrambling. And I feel like I've been scrambling for a long time.
Option 1, group classes. The outcome of doing this is the devil.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. That was fast.
That was so funny.
That's so funny. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the devil shows us being tied to toxic armor from our childhood. So there were times in your childhood where it felt like you wanted a thing and it didn't work. So you created this armor that maybe worked then when you were 7, but now that you're 31, you're wearing armor for a 7-year-old. And so it doesn't fit and it feels too tight and it's very scary. And it feels choking. Like it feels like, how am I going to say it? What am I going to, what? So it's choking because you have the anxiety and you can't breathe. And it's choking because you're like, who am I talking to? Who's going to be in my group? So group classes could occur eventually. Right now, it's a little much to be thinking about, and I would just put it down.
Okay, good.
When I look at your VA agency, 10 of Cups.
Okay.
One of the best cards in tarot. Especially for you, having Libra in the 11th house, we see you getting into communities that you love. We see you being in communities that pour into you as much as you pour into them.
Interesting.
We see you feeling very complete and loving your community. This is what you should be putting your energy into. But your consistent question needs to be, who do I want to serve? Who are the people? It's not going to be, this is the hard thing about coming from like kind of a traumatic childhood. It's not just going to be the people that feel exciting for you. It is going to be the people that feel soothing for you. There is very likely going to be the question of, is this allowed to be this easy?
Okay.
Historically, you have probably been on a roller coaster ride. Very high highs, very low lows. You get excited by their excitement, and then you're the one having to do the work, and there's nothing left to give. When you get into Cups communities, it feels easy. That means that you don't have the high highs. You're not like, oh my God, tell me everything. Like, you're just like, oh, your name is blank. I could help you with that. This is the rate I charge for that. And it's not so high highs and so low lows.
It's weird to think that's possible because, again, like the way I built it and the way it is now is like not that. So I don't even know how to like rein myself in because it feels scary. And like I'm saying no to possible income and like bills. And I think that scarcity is playing such a big.
So I'm going to send you my manifestation guide. It's 10 questions. This started when I was manifesting my husband, and now I use it for everything. It took me, I want to say 8 months from writing it and trying. So like I wrote all the things down. I wrote like, who are 3 people that I look to for relationships? Similarly, you're going to say, what are 3 business owners whose businesses I really love? They feel nourished, they feel happy, they feel tended to, whatever the words are, right? You're going to write those down, and then you're going to answer some other questions. The last question is, where do I think these people exist? And then you're going to do everything in your power to get into those circles. I started a company. I said, oh, where am I going to find a hot, rich, funny guy? Whole Foods. I built a company to meet my husband at Whole Foods, and I met him at Whole Foods. So you're going to have to get clear on what it is that you want and where those people are. And then you're going to have to put all your extra effort into getting into those circles where you feel calm and nourished and people give back to you as much as you give to them. It's going to be trial and error. You're going to have to focus on what isn't working and then imagine what could feel better and just keep doing that. For 8 months, I was manifesting my husband. My husband was not the first guy I dated. I dated a lot of guys. And the moment I knew they weren't right, I was like, bye. If it's not the right community, you get to move on. If it's not the right client, you get to move on. Your VA business, though, is meant to be very nourishing.
Okay. good to
part
know.
of you being the CEO of your business, you can't make $20 an hour.
I was making more. And then I stepped out and like the structure stayed this because I'm like, I have to pay. Like, I also can't shortchange my OBM too and be like, take care of my whole business for me. Like, but keep the same rate. So I feel like I'm shortchanging myself right now, but like, I know it's not long term. It's just like, it just happened like a week ago, by the way. Like, this is very new. Like, I just handed it over to her.
I would raise your rates sooner rather than later. I would give yourself maybe a month.
Okay.
Or 2 weeks, whatever feels best. And I would be like, rate change, rate. If you want to get in, do it now. You're 9 to 5. If you invest too much energy into it, you get the 8 of Swords. You feel trapped.
Uh-huh.
It's not true, though, which is very interesting. It's not like they're physically keeping you there, and it's not like the money is so good you can't leave. But somehow your mind has tricked you into feeling like this is the way that you make money.
Yes, because the VA business is not doing that right now. So that was more promising. And that also gave me the foundation to be like, okay, I can be a CEO. Because before that, I was working in it so much that I like couldn't. So I wonder if the 9 to 5 is more short term than long term.
Very short term. I would say a maximum of 8 months. I would not go a full year. I would actually write in your calendar when 8 months is. I would probably give myself like a 2-week warning. Like I would do 6 months and 8 months.
Okay.
To make sure you're prepped. And in this 8-month period, my focus would be on getting into the communities that you want to be in. One of the things you might notice is that you start serving a totally different group of people.
That makes sense. I could see that because this group of people ain't doing it. So
yeah, because they have to have enough money to be able to support you. So like maybe what we're going to do is we're going to be a VA agency that is serving businesses that have like 5 to 10 employees.
Like brick and mortar or online or
whatever makes the most money. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think most brick and mortar companies are drowning and trying to figure out how to become online.
Yeah, right now for sure with everything.
Let's say you get into the hospitality industry.
That sounds
and you're like working with restaurants. This is just possibilities that we're talking about so that we're thinking outside of entrepreneurs. You can still imagine all the things that are wrong with them and you can say what would fit better. But let's say restaurants. Let's say you team up with a group of people that start restaurants and you're like, hey, I'm a virtual assistant agency. These are the things that we complete for you. If you have any launches coming up, we require a 3-month contract and we'll do X, Y, and Z for you. And then they have all of those needs met. And because they are a group of people that open restaurants, like maybe they're opening 10 restaurants in a year, you then have those contracts. That's like a type of business that I could see employing like 5 to 10 people and needing virtual assistants. And also having the money because they are not paying from their own individual bank account, right? They have people paying for things, so they are able to do that.
Okay. That's good to know. And I hear what you say about the headshots because even in like the back of my head, I'm like, okay, like I've like done this in such a way where it was like just start and don't make it perfect, but it's like carried on that way, like visibly, functionally different story entirely, completely, but visually, like you would think I'm brand new by the way things look like with my website, with like I don't have headshots done, like, and I do feel like that plays a part into my confidence too, of like because it doesn't look polished.
What is the name of your company?
LN Production VA. Like it's just like I just slapped a name together because I planned on changing my last name, so I didn't LLC my name.
When you sell yourself, you always have to be a part of it. If you're going to sell your company when you're 55 and make, $20 million so that you can live, your name can't be the company name. And when there's 5 other people involved, LN Productions is like, people still don't know. Does that mean Lauren?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm kind of like, it's a vague enough, like I think. So
but
I hope.
If you were to think from the perspective of a restaurateur that is looking for a team, an agency of virtual assistants, consider what those search terms would be and then how you could like put that name. You're due for a rebrand. Get yourself some headshots, invite the team to be a part of it. When you're doing your website, it should have groups of people on their laptop, it shouldn't all be you, but you should have headshots and then have tiers of packages. They can be from the most experienced, which is you, which could be very expensive, to the least expensive, which could be double your rate right now. Then they have the option to say, okay, well, this is how involved I want it to be. You'll be surprised by how often people choose the more expensive one, but you can also say this is our most popular, which is the mid-tier. where your COO is probably pretty involved.
Interesting.
Your social media should be supporting that company launch. You should have a different account, not the one that you currently have. You should send an email out to all of your current people and you should say, hey, I'm doing a rebrand. I would love testimonials. And then you have like a Google form that supports people sharing their experience in a way that you can share. And you have those reviews on your website, you have them on your social media, you share them in your stories regularly. It makes it feel like people can be in that world and envision what it's like for people that are on the fence. One of the questions I always ask is, if somebody was on the fence, what would you tell them about this?
Oh, I just did that the other day and it locked them in, but again, at the rate I didn't want.
Yeah. That you are able to verbalize those is perfect. Ace of Cups. It is a healing opportunity that we are going to continue growing on to. It's scaffolding, right? Your homework that you need to start is writing, journaling. Specifically, I'm going to give you a list of manifestation prompts, and I'll also include those in the show notes for other people that want to do them.
Amazing.
And I want you to be journaling on those topics.
Thank you.
I want you to put yourself in the perspective of a potential client, and I want you to start imagining what name would feel really aligned for them.
Like a literal name.
For your company.
For my company. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. You offer clarity. You offer streamlining. So come up with a name. When the name comes to you, that is your signal to rebrand.
Okay.
I would get photos done whenever it feels comfortable. But like, you don't have to do a big website overhaul right now because you don't exactly know who you're serving yet. Getting into communities that are nourishing for you. So like going to a yoga class or something like that. I know finances are tight, but any circle where people are gathering will help you identify what it is that they need so you can name your company better.
Okay.
And it's okay if it takes a year. You have a 9-to-5 now.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to take like 8 months at a max.
Mariah, transparently, I'm nervous that it's all going to combust in front of me and I'm going to be left with nothing. I'm like paranoid too, a little bit right now.
So tell me what your fear is with the 9-to-5. What's the worry?
My fear is that I'm not good at selling. I'm not going to secure any clients for them. I'm going to be let go because I'm not producing the commission within the 3 months to be able to feel comfortable about bringing the right people into my agency instead of just paying the bills at a scarcity, which I've been doing this entire time. That's my fear, is that like this pattern is going to continue because I cannot secure the funds from the 9-to-5 that I need to feel comfortable with coming at the agency from a different standpoint. I'm so nervous even telling you that. Okay.
Isn't it interesting to get it out into the air, like to speak it out? I feel like that's the most healing part of tarot readings. When I look at you, your career, your trajectory, the effects of this 9-to-5, I see that the focus on sales is really important for you moving forward. It's like a healing elixir for you to get to focus almost exclusively on sales for this amount of time. So we see you showing up as the King of Cups, a master of the flow, a master of saying what needs to be said. Also, there is this healing aspect. It's not like you're selling snake oil. So you're actually offering a healing solution to people, and you are offering healing to yourself. This is a 3-month semester, really fine-tuning your sales. And so I want you to go into it from that perspective. Because that allows you to experiment, and your focus is on learning how to do this better for yourself. You are boots on the ground making it happen. Because you are now realistically, you're taking it from theory to like real practice. You are going to notice obstacles. They are real. They are real obstacles. And it does not mean that you should step away from your path. You should prepare for them. You should not let it stop you.
Okay.
Last piece, 9 of Pentacles. The amount of effort that you put into this, physical effort, allows you to have emotional satisfaction and to really enjoy the company that you build.
Okay.
When we're talking about 9 of Pentacles, it's about you physically doing all the steps to create your ideal company, to create your ideal financial situation. You are doing it. It is going to take effort. You are great at effort. When have you failed at producing effort? Ever?
I don't think so, honestly. I don't think I ever have. Because if anything, I push too hard, and that's my worry, is that I'm going to continue the pushing pattern, and I don't want to do that.
You are putting in effort, physical effort, so that you can have ease, because you know what it is that you need. You know what your company needs. You know what your body needs. You know what your mind needs. You know what your marriage needs. You're not exactly clear on the community part, but that is this job, honestly, gets you into a lot of communities so that you can say, I like this, hated that. Yes, I love this.
Okay.
You're on the right path. Your company is phenomenal for you. It's all the things that you need it to be in order to be very successful in your life. If I looked at your birth chart, we did like a mystic momentum. That's my business coaching. If I looked at your chart, I would have told you to start this company.
Okay. All
You're
right. That's good.
knocking it out of the park. And how many years of experience do you have doing this?
About 4 now.
As a virtual assistant or just as running an agency?
4 years in general.
It takes 7
Thanks.
years to be able to like really feel comfortable and confident with what you're doing. And at that 7-year mark, that's when people are looking to do sabbaticals. That's when they're looking to take a year off to be like, all right, I accomplished this. Let's like take a big stretch and figure out what we want to do with it next.
I would love a sabbatical.
So your tasks are, you're going to be thinking about the names that will be a beacon for your future clients. You're going to be paying attention to what isn't working. You're going to imagine what could feel better in those places. You're going to use this current job, kind of traditional job, to practice different sales techniques in kind of a low stakes situation. You are only letting yourself practice this for 6 to 8 months. And if you decide you want to quit sooner, that's fine too.
All of this feels so unsafe, and I know it's like a good thing, but go ahead.
Your biggest task is to explore communities that give as much as they take. It's going to be your biggest work. It's going to be your hardest work. When I send you this manifestation guide, the thing I want you manifesting is healing communities. It's a thing, when I look at your birth chart, it's like written in the stars as the thing that will launch you to success.
That makes so much sense. And it makes sense why so many people are falling too. I feel like it's making room for this. It just doesn't make sense right now, currently. Things are slowly clicking into place, but it feels so foreign and uncomfortable that I'm like questioning every little step. But yeah.
I mean, that's how you stay safe, right? Like that's how you make sure that you're on the right path. You are on the right path and you are continuing to be on the right path. Even when I look forward for you, you're doing a great job.
This is very helpful because I needed a lot of clarity, and I feel like a lot came from everything that you've been saying. So thank you.
I love it. Thank you for joining this episode of Skeptics Welcome. My goal with the show is to share how grounding tarot and astrology can be and pull back the curtain on running your own business. If you got anything out of this show, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to get your own cards read, you can head on over to the show notes for a discount code so we can look into whatever feels uncertain, uncomfortable, or stagnant in your life. Until next week, question everything.